International students to Canada declined sharply in 2025. If you are interested in this topic, please pay attention and watch the video through to the end to get all the information. Please hit like and subscribe, and don't forget to push the notification bell for an upcoming video. So, without any further delay, let's jump into the video. Canada, a country that has long stood out as a premier destination for international students and foreign workers, is undergoing a dramatic change in its immigration landscape in 2025. New data from Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada shows a sharp decline in the number of temporary residents entering the country, with international students being hit the hardest. This video reflects not only tightened immigration regulations but also Canada's evolving priorities as it seeks to balance economic needs, housing shortages, and demographic sustainability. A sharp decline in new arrivals. Between January and June 2024, Canada welcomed more than 354,000 new temporary residents, consisting largely of study permit holders and temporary foreign worker program permit holders. In the same period in 2025, however, the numbers dropped to just over 255,000, marking a steep 28% decline. Study permits saw the biggest cut, plunging by nearly 39%, from over 245,000 to under 150,000. Work permits under the TFWP also fell, but much less dramatically, decreasing by about 3.8%. If these trends continue through the rest of the year, Canada will end 2025 with approximately 350,000 study permits and over 210,000 TFWP permits. This would represent a combined total of around 560,000 new permits, still higher than the government's set targets but noticeably lower than the figures from 2024. The gap between reality and government targets. Canada's 2025 immigration levels plan set specific goals for the number of temporary residents. The government aimed for around 305,900 study permits and only 82,000 work permits under the TFWP. However, the projections for 2025 suggest a very different outcome. Despite the decline, the number of study permits could still surpass the official target, especially with the expected seasonal surge in August when most academic programs begin. Meanwhile, TFWP permits are projected to be more than double the government's goal, reflecting the strong demand for foreign labor in industries like agriculture and essential services. This imbalance highlights the challenges Canada faces in meeting its ambitious objective of reducing temporary residents to 5% of the total population by 2026. Shifting demographics among newcomers. The changing numbers also reveal a transformation in the makeup of Canada's temporary residents. In the first half of 2024, students accounted for nearly 70% of all new arrivals, while workers made up about 30%. By 2025, that balance had shifted considerably, with students dropping to just under 59% and workers climbing to over 41%. This shows a clear trend of Canada becoming increasingly reliant on temporary foreign workers while tightening the door for international students. India, traditionally Canada's largest source of international students, illustrates this shift sharply. In just 1 year, the number of Indian students arriving with study permits dropped by more than half, while the number of Indian workers on TFWP permits remained relatively steady. Policy reforms driving the change. This transformation is the direct result of significant reforms implemented by IRCC beginning in 2024. For students, Canada has introduced caps on study permits distributed across provinces, raised the financial requirements to prove sufficient funds, and imposed stricter eligibility rules for post-graduation work permits. These measures, combined with reduced flexibility in off-campus work hours and the closure of expedited processing streams like the Student Direct Stream, have made it more difficult for students to enter Canada. For workers, reforms include the end of pandemic-era flexibility that allowed easy transitions from visitor to work permits, new restrictions on intra-company transferees, the banning of same-day border processing known as flagpolling, and tighter eligibility for spousal work permits. Together, these measures reflect Canada's first-ever attempt to directly control the inflow of temporary residents through multi-year permit targets. The exclusions in the data. It is important to note that the IRCC figures only account for new arrivals under study and TFWP permits. They do not include asylum claimants, permit renewals, seasonal agricultural workers, or short-term workers on contracts lasting less than 270 days. This means the actual number of temporary residents living and working in Canada is much higher than what the data on new inflows suggests. By narrowing the focus, the government is better able to track and control the entry of new residents without conflating the figures with those who are already present. Implications for Canada's economy and future. The decline in international student arrivals could have serious implications for Canada's higher education sector, which has grown heavily dependent on the high tuition fees paid by foreign students. Universities and colleges in provinces like Ontario and British Columbia may face financial shortfalls as fewer students arrive. On the other hand, the steady number of foreign workers reflects ongoing labor shortages in key sectors such as agriculture and essential services. Yet this is not without controversy. With Canadian youth unemployment exceeding 20%, the heavy reliance on foreign workers is drawing criticism and sparking debate about whether the government's policies are striking the right balance. Beyond the immediate economic effects, the decline in student arrivals also threatens Canada's long-term skilled labor supply. Fewer students today means fewer graduates eligible for post-graduation work permits in the future, which could reduce the country's pool of skilled immigrants. Meanwhile, Canada's global reputation is shifting. Once seen as a welcoming and open-door nation, it is now increasingly defined by restrictive policies and a focus on sustainability, housing, and infrastructure capacity. This represents a turning point in how the world views Canada as a destination for talent, a country in transition. Ultimately, Canada's 2025 immigration landscape paints the picture of a country in transition. The government's reforms have led to sharp declines in international student arrivals, while labor demand has kept work permit numbers relatively resilient, albeit far above official targets. The education sector, the labor market, and Canada's broader image are all being reshaped by these developments. Whether these reforms succeed in creating a more sustainable immigration system remains to be seen. For now, the numbers signal that Canada's once open immigration model is entering a new era of stricter controls, deeper debates, and long-term consequences. 2025 Express Entry Draw Schedule revealed by new IRCC memo. A recently revealed redacted internal memo from Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada has provided rare insight into the Express Entry Draw Schedule for 2025. The details, shared publicly by Calgary-based RCIC and law student Mandeep Lidher, outline how Canada intends to manage invitations to apply, align with immigration targets, and prepare for the future under the 2025 to 2027 Multi-Year Levels Plan. Alignment with Multi-Year Levels Plan. The memo shows that the 2025 ITA schedule is closely tied to the broader plan for 2025 to 2027 immigration targets. Many ITAs issued late in 2025 will count toward 2026 admissions because most candidates will only land as permanent residents the following year. Provinces and territories will receive a rolling 3-month ITA schedule, including expected draw weeks, round types, and projected minimum CRS cutoffs, though IRCC notes adjustments may occur. For applicants, this means timing is critical. Those aiming for late 2025 draws should strengthen their CRS scores well in advance. Francophone admissions priority. One of the standout aspects of the schedule is IRCC's focus on boosting Francophone immigration outside Quebec. For 2025, IRCC set a target of 8.5% Francophone admissions, with plans to rise to 9.5% in 2026. To reach this, IRCC allocated 18,500 ITAs to French proficiency rounds, with several large draws already held in February, March, and August 2025. Because processing takes months, many ITAs from late 2025 will count toward 2026 goals. For French-speaking candidates, this is a major opportunity. By taking TEF Canada or TCF Canada exams and achieving CLB 7 or higher, applicants can gain up to 50 extra CRS points, making them more competitive. Category-based selection focus. The memo outlines planned ITA allocations across specific categories to address labor shortages, including healthcare, education, and trades. Delays in approving earlier draws meant some categories, especially trades, have not yet seen significant activity in 2025. This gap suggests that upcoming trades draws may be large, possibly exceeding 3,300 ITAs. However, CRS cutoffs are likely to remain high, around 470+, in trades like cooking, meaning applicants must work on maximizing language, education, or work experience points. In Canada, applicants and federal economic priorities. The ITA schedule highlights IRCC's push toward federal economic priorities and an in-Canada focus, favoring applicants already working or studying in Canada. Candidates under the Canadian Experience class are well positioned because Canadian work or education experience boosts CRS scores. In addition, securing a provincial nominee program nomination remains one of the strongest strategies, since it adds 600 points and virtually guarantees an ITA. Transparency with stakeholders. Another important takeaway is IRCC's commitment to improve transparency. By sharing the 3-month ITA outlook with provinces and territories, IRCC enables more predictable planning. This communication also helps align express entry with provincial nomination programs, ensuring labor market needs are better met. For applicants, this transparency means it will be easier to anticipate draw timing and prepare accordingly. Preparation tips for applicants. The memo underscores the need for applicants to be proactive. Create or update express entry profiles early. Retake language tests for higher scores. Obtain educational credential assessments. Explore PNP pathways for a guaranteed boost. Stay up to date with official IRCC announcements. What's ahead in 2025? As the system evolves, IRCC is prioritizing francophone admissions, trades, healthcare, and education sectors while maintaining high CRS thresholds. This creates both opportunities and challenges. Skilled tradespeople, healthcare professionals, and French speakers stand to benefit most. Canada on track to surpass immigration targets in 2025. Canada is on track to surpass its 2025 immigration targets, highlighting both the strength and complexity of its immigration system. According to Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, the country is projected to welcome 422,232 new permanent residents by the end of 2025, exceeding the official target of 395,000 by nearly 7%. This achievement comes even as the government plans to gradually reduce immigration levels in 2026 and 2027. Strong start in 2025. Between January and July 2025, Canada welcomed 246,300 new permanent residents and processed nearly 267,000 applications, averaging over 35,000 newcomers per month. This pace places the country well within the upper range of its immigration plan, 367,000 to 436,000. The strong performance underscores Canada's proactive reliance on immigration to counter labor shortages, support an aging population, and maintain economic growth. Processing capacity and backlogs. Despite these impressive numbers, Canada faces significant operational challenges. As of July 31, 2025, IRCC reported 892,400 applications in process, with nearly 50% backlogged, meaning they exceeded standard processing times. While backlogs remain a concern, the large stockpile of applications provides a strong pipeline for meeting future targets in 2026 and 2027. To address delays, Canada is investing in digital systems, hiring additional staff, and increasing transparency. Immigration categories. The projected 422,000 newcomers will enter through multiple streams. Economic immigration, the largest category, including express entry, provincial nominee programs, and Canadian experience class. These immigrants fill critical shortages in healthcare, technology, and skilled trades. Family reunification allows Canadians to sponsor relatives, strengthening social cohesion. Refugees and protected persons, reflecting Canada's humanitarian leadership in global resettlement. Other programs, such as the Atlantic Immigration Program and caregiver pathways that address regional needs. This balanced system ensures immigration supports both economic and social priorities. Why immigration matters? Immigration is vital to Canada's long-term strategy. With a low birth rate and an aging population, newcomers are key to sustaining the workforce and public services like healthcare and pensions. Immigrants also drive innovation, entrepreneurship, and tax revenue, reinforcing Canada's competitiveness in a global economy. For instance, the technology sector heavily depends on skilled foreign talent in areas such as artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. Integration challenges. Absorbing more than 422,000 newcomers in a single year requires robust support systems. Key hurdles include housing affordability, particularly in urban centers. Credential recognition, which often prevents skilled workers from entering their professions. Language barriers, requiring expanded training programs in English and French. Settlement services exist, but scaling them to meet record immigration levels will require significant investment and coordination. Public opinion and future outlook. While Canada has a reputation for welcoming immigrants, public opinion can shift amid concerns about housing, healthcare, and job competition. Maintaining trust requires transparent communication about the economic and social benefits of immigration. Ultimately, Canada's projected success in 2025 reflects a strong immigration framework that balances growth with humanitarian commitments. Surpassing its official target signals not only immediate progress but also lays the groundwork for sustained prosperity through 2027. The challenges of backlogs and integration are real but manageable with strategic investments. By continuing to welcome newcomers at record levels, Canada reaffirms its role as a global leader in immigration and diversity. New CPP payments to be sent Canada-wide on August 27. Canada's retirees, disabled individuals, and survivors are set to receive their next Canada Pension Plan payment on August 27, 2025. This payment provides vital financial support and comes with a 2.7% increase for 2025, helping Canadians keep up with inflation and rising living costs. Payment dates for 2025. The confirmed CPP payment dates for the remainder of 2025 are August 27, Wednesday, September 25, Thursday, October 29, Wednesday, November 26, Wednesday, December 22, Monday. Those with direct deposit will receive funds instantly, while check recipients are advised to update their addresses to avoid potential postal delays. What's new in 2025? Starting in January 2025, CPP payments rose by 2.7%, aligning with the Consumer Price Index. This ensures benefits remain relevant against the rising costs of essentials such as food, housing, and healthcare. Under the enhancement program that began in 2019, CPP now replaces up to 33.33% of average career earnings, up from 25%. Maximum monthly CPP, age 65, $1,433. Average monthly payment, $900. The exact amount depends on individual contribution history, earnings, and the age at which CPP benefits are claimed. Eligibility and options. To qualify, applicants must be at least 60 years old and have made at least one valid contribution. Canadians can start as early as 60, but payments are reduced by 0.6% per month before age 65. Conversely, delaying until 70 boosts payments by 0.7% per month, up to 42% more. CPP payments are also adjusted annually for inflation, ensuring benefits don't lose value over time. Immigrants may be able to count contributions from other countries with Social Security agreements, and separated or divorced individuals may split credits with former partners. Additional benefits beyond CPP. Retirees may qualify for extra support worth $800 or more monthly. Old age security, up to $800.44 for those 75 plus, July, September 2025. Guaranteed income supplement, up to $1,086.88 per month for low-income seniors. Post-retirement benefit, adds up to $49.39 per month for those working while on CPP, ages 60 to 70. Survivor's pension, up to $859.80 per month for spouses/partners. Children's benefits, $301.77 per month for eligible students under 25. Disability and survivor benefits. CPP also provides significant disability support. Disability benefit, up to $1,673.24 per month for those under 65 with severe, long-term disabilities. Post-retirement disability benefit, up to $598.49 per month for recipients aged 60 to 65 who later become disabled. Quebec Pension Plan. Quebec residents receive similar benefits under the QPP, with coordinated contributions for those who have worked across provinces. QPP's August 2025 payment is scheduled for August 29. Application process. Applications can be completed online via My Service Canada account, 7 to 14 days processing, or through paper applications, up to 120 days. Required documents typically include a social insurance number, birth certificate, or marital documents. Applicants are encouraged to apply 6 to 12 months early. In short, the August 2025 CPP payment marks a key financial boost, supported by a 2.7% inflation adjustment and a range of supplementary programs like OAS and GIS. Together, these ensure Canadians, whether retirees, low-income seniors, or survivors, have a stronger financial foundation in an era of rising costs. That is all for today, in this video. What are your thoughts on this? Please let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching the entire video. Hopefully, the information is useful to you. See you later, in the next video. Till then, take care.